We're going to look at the area and perimeter of quadrilaterals. We've talked about quadrilaterals before. There were parallelograms, rectangles, squares. Those are the ones we're going to talk about. We also talked about rhombus and trapezoids as well. But today these are the three we're going to look at. They're very similar as far as finding the area. Most everybody will start with a rectangle. Most everybody's pretty familiar with the area of a rectangle. If you have a rectangle that has a length and a width, the area is just length times width. So if this was 10 and this was 5, the area would be 10 times 5, which would be 50. And if there's units on it, if you take inches times inches, it's inches squared. So area always has square units. So square inches or square meters or square feet or whatever it happens to be. So your answer is just that. You have to put the units on there if it has units in the problem. So for a rectangle, length times width is height. Okay. For the perimeter, if you look at this is a length and this is a length over here, and this is a width and this is a width. So what I've got is length plus width plus length plus width. The perimeter is the distance around the outside. So what I really have is 2 lengths plus 2 widths. Or it can be written as 2 times length plus width. You can add the length and width together and then multiply it by 2. Either one of them gives you the same exact answer. So that's how you find the perimeter. So there's our two formulas: area of a rectangle, perimeter of a rectangle. Perimeter is the distance around the outside. The units on that, if we were to do this problem right here, the perimeter is going to equal 2 times 10 inches plus 2 times 5 inches, which would be 20 plus 10, which would be 30. And the units, you're just adding them up, so it's just whatever the unit in the problem is. So the perimeter is going to be 30 inches. If you did this one, 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. Okay. A square is a rectangle, so it really follows the same information. If we look at a square, all a square is a rectangle that all of the sides are the same. And so if I were to look at the area, length times width, since it's a perimeter, or since it's a rectangle, side times side is just side squared. So if this was 7 meters, this would be 7 meters. 7 times 7, the area would be 49 square meters. To find the perimeter, it's just side plus side plus side plus side, which is just 4 times a side. So in this case, perimeter would be 4 times 7, and it'd be meters, which would be 28 meters. And there would be your answer. The only one that might be a challenge is a parallelogram. Let's look at what happens with a parallelogram. So here's the area of a square, perimeter of a square for that. So for a parallelogram, if you remember what a parallelogram is, it's kind of like a rectangle, only it's kind of tilted off to the side. We know that these two sides are the same and these two sides are the same. To figure out the area of a rectangle or of a parallelogram, all it is just if I were to take this and cut this off right here, cut this piece off, so I'm going to get rid of this piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right over here. So this piece right here that I cut off, that's no longer here, is now over here. And what I just did was made that into a rectangle. We know that from above here, the area of a rectangle is length times width. Can't really call it a length and a width, so what we do is we call this distance the base of the parallelogram, and we call this the height. That's this distance, perpendicular. It's not this length of the side, but it's this height right here. So the area is just, because it's a rectangle now, the area of this is the same as the area of that was to start with. So the area of this rectangle is base times height. And that's the formula for area of a parallelogram. Okay. Perimeter, it's just a matter of, if I know, let's call this length right here C. The perimeter then is a base, this would be C, this would be C, or excuse me, B, and this would be C. So it'd be 2 times the base plus 2 times C. And so we have to know this length in order to find the perimeter. If on chance you didn't know that, you only knew this one, you could use trigonometry, but we're not going to have any of those kind of problems. So really there's our formulas that we're dealing with today. Your assignment today is going to be finding the area, the perimeter, and what type of quadrilateral it is. So for instance, if I gave you this problem, and this is what your assignment's going to look like. If I said this was A, this was H, and this was C, and I said that A was equal to 3.2, C was equal to 4, well, let's see, let's make that 2.4, and H was equal to 1.6. So we want to find the area, the perimeter, and what type of problem this is. Okay, well I just usually start with that. If these two things are different and these are not right angles, the most specific we can say is this is a parallelogram. It's not a rectangle, it's not a square, so it's a parallelogram. To find the area, I know that the area of a parallelogram is base times height, so that's what I need to find. The base is A. And what I want you to do on the assignment, don't just put an answer here. What I want you to do is actually write down here area equals the base, which is 3.2, times the height, which is H, which is 1.6. And then put your answer over here. So then you can just take your calculator and we can go 3.2 times 1.6. So 5.12. And if there was, units, my machine's not cooperating here. 5.12. If there were units, if it was feet, or no, let's make this. Let's make this be feet. Because it's area, it's always square units, so it'd just be square feet. To find the perimeter, it's A plus this plus this plus this. So it's A plus C. So it's the perimeter is 2 times A, which is 2.4, plus 2 times C, which is, I did it backwards, 2 times C plus 2 times A, which is 3.2. Then you just take your calculator and I just go 2 times 2.4 plus 2 times 3.2, and I get 11.2, and that would be whatever units you have, so that would be feet. And that's what I'm going to have you do on the assignment. But I do want to see this. I don't want just an answer. If you just give me just an answer, I'll send back to you that I want you to show me the work. Take a picture of it and send it back to me.